A legend. Billy Klapper's touching Yellowstone tribute and appearance explained. Shows like Yellowstone don't come around often, as the Western, particularly the modern Western, has struggled to find an audience in the past several decades. Yellowstone was able to break through to the general audience, though becoming one of the biggest shows on television during its 5-season run. Among Yellowstone's most controversial moments and dramatic story beats, the series shines brightest when it focuses on the authentic cowboy life, which it made a point of really highlighting throughout its run. Of course, Yellowstone is dramatized to make for exciting television, but the heart of the show knows exactly what it is trying to do: shine a light on a way of life that often gets overlooked in modern film and television. Even among the interconnected universe that Taylor Sheridan has built with Yellowstone, it never loses sight of paying tribute to the cowboy way of life and highlighting the hard work and dedication it takes, bringing in actual legends like Billy Klapper along the way. Billy Klapper was born April 19, 1937, and began his cowboy career as a ranch hand for the Buckle L Ranch in Childress, Texas. In 1966, Billy Klapper began to transition into a career as a spur and a bit maker, before pursuing it full-time in 1968, and became a legend within the ranching community for his incredible work in crafting bits and spurs, where he developed over 800 different bit patterns and over 600 different spur patterns. Over the course of the series, Yellowstone paid tribute to a number of legendary figures within the ranching and cowboy community, always giving thanks to those who made a show like Yellowstone possible to make, and engaging to see play out on the screen. Billy Klapper was one of these legends who unfortunately passed away on September 10, 2024, just 2 months prior to his actual appearance on the series. Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 9, Desire is All You Need, pays tribute at the end of the episode with a card that reads, "In loving memory of Billy Klapper." Billy Klapper had an actual scene in Season 5, Episode 9, Desire is All You Need. The episode itself deals with the initial wave of grief and pain at the death of John Dutton, and Klapper's scene acts as a moment of quiet relief and thematic significance for the rest of the series. In the episode, Rip Wheeler visits Klapper's workshop in Pampa, Texas, to pick up a bit that Lloyd ordered 15 years ago, and the two of them have a quiet moment where Rip is amazed at the craftsmanship that Klapper's work is made with, and is eventually given a pair of spurs for no charge. Yellowstone has always thrived in its softer moments, where it admires the work and dedication it takes to be a cowboy. And Billy Klapper's scene is the perfect representation of how the series has always paid tribute to those who actually live that life, while also feeling like a passing of the torch moment for Rip after the death of John Dutton. Rip's conversation with Dusty at the 6666 Ranch highlights the idea Yellowstone has built towards for 5 seasons, with Dusty talking about Billy as he says, "When he's gone, we're all out of legends." There's a moment in every great story when myth meets man, when a living legend steps out from behind the curtain of everyday life and reminds the world what true grit, heart, and craftsmanship look like. For Yellowstone fans, that moment arrived with a quiet, powerful appearance of Billy Klapper, a name whispered in rodeo arenas, ranches, and cowboy lore, but largely unknown to the wider world until now. When Billy Klapper showed up on Yellowstone, it wasn't with fanfare or heavy-handed introduction. It wasn't necessary. Legends don't announce themselves. They're felt. And as he moved across the screen, whether speaking few words or none at all, there was a weight to his presence, like the wind shifting before a summer storm. For those unfamiliar, Billy Klapper isn't an actor by trade. He's a cowboy, a craftsman, a 4th-generation rancher and the world's most respected hand forger of working cowboy spurs. For over 50 years, he has quietly built a legacy that is woven into the very fabric of the West, a place where hard work, faith, and family still mean everything. The appearance. In the episode titled Blood and Thunder, as tensions boiled and family loyalties were tested at the Dutton Ranch, a smaller, quieter story unfolded. It was a tribute to the cowboys whose names rarely make history books, but whose spirit keeps the land alive. Among the ranch hands and local legends, Billy Klapper appeared, a nod from Taylor Sheridan to the true heart of the West. He wasn't there to ride bulls or fire rifles. He was there as himself, a working cowboy, standing beside Kevin Costner's John Dutton, as if they were old acquaintances who spoke the same unspoken language of honor and hardship. In a show built on authenticity, Klapper's presence was a brushstroke of pure, heartfelt realism. The costume department didn't have to dress him up. The props department didn't need to hand him anything. Billy brought his own spurs, his own hat, his own stories etched into the lines of his weathered face. Even his walk, deliberate, steady, spoke volumes about a lifetime spent under open skies, chasing cattle, fighting drought, and raising sons to be men of the land. The tribute. Beyond the cameo itself, there was something even more poignant. Yellowstone had quietly orchestrated a tribute that only the sharpest-eyed fans might have caught. In a scene set in the bunkhouse, a new set of spurs was passed around, hand-forged, gleaming, and unmistakably Klapper's work. They were a gift, crafted not just for the character, but for what the character stood for: tradition, resilience, and respect for the old ways. The scene wasn't about flash or spectacle. It was about legacy. The idea that some tools, some values, are meant to be handed down from one generation to the next. It was Taylor Sheridan's way of saying thank you. Thank you to the real cowboys who built the myth of the West, and to men like Billy Klapper, who kept it alive when the rest of the world moved on to easier, faster ways of living. Why it mattered. In a series that has become famous for its gritty realism and emotional depth, Billy Klapper's appearance added something no actor could fake: authenticity. In Klapper, viewers saw not just a character, but the soul of the American West itself: proud, humble, enduring. It also offered a reminder that real heroes aren't always the loudest ones. Sometimes they're the men working in the background, forging spurs by hand, teaching their kids to honor the land, and standing by their neighbors when times get tough. And in a world increasingly obsessed with fame and instant gratification, Klapper's quiet, powerful moment on Yellowstone was a profound counterpoint, a celebration of a different kind of greatness. A greatness that doesn't seek applause but earns respect. The reaction. Fans of Yellowstone, particularly those with roots in ranching and rodeo life, immediately recognized the significance. Social media lit up with messages like, "That's Billy Klapper, a living legend right there. My grandpa wore a pair of Klapper spurs his whole life. This moment gave me chills. Finally, a real cowboy on TV." Even among those unfamiliar with his name, there was a sense that something meaningful had happened, a passing of the torch from the real West to its modern storytelling guardians. Behind the scenes, it turns out the collaboration had been brewing for a while. Taylor Sheridan, himself a former cowboy and a fierce defender of Western authenticity, had long admired Klapper's work. Some sources close to the production revealed that Sheridan personally invited Klapper to be part of the show, not as an actor playing a cowboy, but as a cowboy simply being himself. Klapper, humble as always, was hesitant at first. He didn't seek the spotlight. But ultimately, he agreed, not for fame, but because he believed in what Yellowstone was trying to do: tell the truth about a way of life that is too often misunderstood or forgotten. A lasting impression. Billy Klapper's moment on Yellowstone wasn't flashy. It didn't need to be. In a show full of high-stakes drama, gunfights, and betrayal, his appearance was a breath of something real. A reminder that amidst all the noise, there are still quiet men out there shaping the world one honest day's work at a time. As the camera lingered on him, spurs glinting, eyes steady, it felt like Yellowstone itself was tipping its hat to a disappearing breed of man. And for those who knew, it wasn't just a cameo. It was a tribute, a prayer, a promise that legends like Billy Klapper will never be forgotten, so long as there are stories left to tell. In that way, Billy Klapper wasn't just playing a part. He was the part. And for one unforgettable moment, a legend walked among us.